Squeeze the legs into the chest. Feel your spine resting on the ground. And go ahead and take your feet onto the ground. They are at the width of the hips. We'll take the arms over the head. Reach them way up and back. Press the backs of your hands into the ground. Use your core to lift your feet. Take the feet up towards the ceiling over the hips. Good. Flex the feet. Point the toes. Notice your lower belly, hug it in. Flex again. Point again. And we're going to open the legs wide, hands to the shins. Bend the knees, hug the knees to the outer edges of your ribs. Good. Yes, circle your ankles. Bring the legs in close to each other. Just rock the length of your mat. Come up. Roll back. Come up. That's 1. We're going for 3. That's 2. And if you want 4, you can go for 4 if it feels good. And then we'll all meet in a seated position with the soles of the feet together. If your knees are higher than your hips, I'll encourage you to sit up on a blanket or a block or a bolster, pillow, whatever you want. Hands to the legs at the ankles. And just take your heart through. On the exhale, we're going to round the spine. Drop the chin towards the chest. Just curl your shoulders around your ears. Inhale to lift the chest again. Shoulders back and down. Good. Exhale, curl. One more time. Heart through, shoulders back. Exhale, shoulders forward. Tuck that chin and the tailbone. And then bring that back up to a neutral spine. Coming off of the block if you had one under there. And let's just swing the right. Let's leave the right leg at the front of the mat. We're taking the left leg all the way back to pigeon. However, we want to be up off of that back knee for this particular pigeon so we can just warm up the body. Tuck the toes, lift up the back knee, leaning forward a bit. So yes, the spine is curling upward, but not hugely. Hugely? Is that a word? Maybe. Squeeze your thighs a lot. We're going to take the left arm over the head. Put that hand back down. Notice your knee is still lifted because you're squeezing the glutes. I want you to walk your hands a little bit towards the right, not a lot. Look over the right shoulder. See if you can see your foot back there. Bring that back to center. Dropping onto the right hip, bring your back leg all the way to the front. It's in front of the left sit bone, and the right leg is still bent up. Take the arms over the head. Exhale to turn yourself towards your left. Put the left hand on the ground behind you. Now we're not hugging the leg across on this one. We're just pointing it up towards the sky, focusing on the left shoulder rolling back. Gaze over your shoulder. Bring this back to center. Reach up. Exhale to take the hands together in front of the heart. We're taking both feet forward. Walk the feet in pretty close. Roll yourself back down onto your back. And the feet come in even closer, but no wider than their hips. Press the shoulders flat down so that you've got the outer edge of your shoulder blade touching the ground. When you're ready, we're going to use the inhale to lift the hips. Use the exhale to take the hips back down. Same thing, pressing the shoulders down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Your low ribs might not touch. Come back up. And come down. Barely tapping the floor and coming right back up. Last time to come all the way down. All the way this time. Taking the knees in. Hands behind the thighs. Heels up towards the ceiling. Flex the feet strongly and walk your hands up towards your ankles or to your feet. You could also use a strap around your feet if you prefer. Let your hips drop into the ground. Legs are straight up over the hips. Let's take the hands behind the thighs. Rock yourself up. Walk the feet in close this time. Maybe they were before. Mine were not. And this time the hands go around the outer edges of the feet. Lifting up through the chest. Press your chest forward. Good. If it feels good, take your elbows in front of your shins or onto your legs. Push them. Maybe. And remember, you could be up on a pillow if you want. We're going to bring that back up. The left leg is at the front of the mat. Right leg goes back to pigeon. And remember, this one is quite active, so come up off of that back knee by tucking your toes back there. While we're here, think about this. Your tailbone is going towards the back of your mat a bit, and the rest of your spine is going towards the front of the mat. Yeah, and in that way, we create space between the joints. Extend your right arm up. Make sure your hips are pointed straight forward, Maya. Even more. Oh, that looks good. Sorry, I was not looking. I couldn't see quite well. Look over your left shoulder. See if you can see your foot. You can put your hand down if you want. Now the hand comes down. And we'll simply drop onto the left hip. Bring the right foot in front of your sit bone. Put it flat down. Arms up. Inhale. Turn yourself to the right. Put the right hand about the center of the mat if you can. Good. Lift your head in line with the rest of your spine. Spread your collarbones. Bring that back around. Reach it up to the sky. Touch the palms. Pull them into the heart in Anjali Mudra. Good. We're taking the feet forward at the width of the hips. Spread your toes and root them down. We're going to extend the arms over the head. Lift up through the top of the head to create length in your spine. Hands come behind, fingers pointing forwards at shoulders width. They point towards your hips, and then the hips come up. This is a reverse tabletop. Just simply hold to breathe. If your head feels good going back, let's do that. But if that doesn't feel good, you can keep it in line with everything else. Make sure your knees are not coming in. Knees, feet, both hip width. Hip width. Good, better. And exhale to release that down. Circle your wrists. Let's go ahead and swing the legs around. Coming on to a tabletop position. Lower the belly to cow pose and just hold cow. Right here, tailbone towards the back of the mat, low back towards the front of the mat. So even when we have our belly down and our tailbone upward, we're still creating that length back there, all the way through the spine. Look up. And on the exhale, to go ahead to cat pose, hold this one, just breathe. Perhaps moving into your tight spots a little, feeling into your body. Bring that back to a neutral spine. Walk the hands forward, lay down. Coming onto the elbows. Zip your legs together. Put your wrists, shoulders, and elbows all in one line. So we have a number 11 with our forearms. Palms are flat. Yep, that's better, Julia. Good. Grip the floor. Pull your chest forward as if your ribs would come off of the front of the mat. And notice how much more spacious that feels in those discs. The neck, too, it lengthens as well, even though we look up. Exhale to take it down. Bring the hands beside the chest. The legs are still zipped. Come up a little. Push the floor. Not really push. Let's say pull. Ribs forward as if they would come off the front of the mat. Release that back down. We're going to do cobra a couple of times. I want you to put all 10 toenails on the ground. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Do that again a couple more times. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to lower. Use the rhythm of your own breathing. Long in the neck. Don't crunch there. Yes. And so the arms never go straight on cobra because our legs are zipped together, and that would not be good on the spine. So go ahead and come up again last time and hold this one. Good. Shoulders are back. Keep the length in your neck, Erin. So even though we're looking up, it's the forehead to the ceiling. Great. Press that back to downward facing dog by tucking your toes under at hips width. Hips to the sky. Find your breath here in downward facing dog. Pull that forward. Release the knees to the ground. Come all the way up, arms over the head with your toes tucked under. And then bring your hands to your hips. All right, so I've got my toes tucked under back there. They're at hips width, so are the knees. We're going to keep the hands on the hips and just look back on the ceiling. Feel your rib cage climbing up towards the ceiling. And in that way, there's no compression on the discs. Straighten that back up. Extend your arms over the head. Look over your right shoulder. Take your right hand to your heel or to your hamstring or somewhere else. And the feet are active. Inhale to come back up. Exhale to switch sides. Breathing here, lifting the spine. Inhale to center. Exhale to sit down onto your heels if that feels good, or sit some other way if this doesn't feel good. Okay? I want to talk for a moment about the difference between upward dog and cobra. So, for cobra, as was mentioned, the legs are zipped together. We're mostly using the strength of our back to come up. As we start to straighten the arms a little bit, the legs start to open naturally, and that's good. We're still lifting mostly the strength of the spine. You see my arms are not straight, and yet this is the ideal cobra. Elbows in. With upward dog, the feet are open a bit. They're hips width to create more space for the lower back. I'm going to show you upward dog from plank pose because it's easier to see. So the top of the foot comes to the ground and then the other. Right away, I have my shins up, my hips up, and everything straight. This is not quite upward dog. Upward dog, we scoop the hips forward and through and look up. Squeezing the glutes gently, lengthening the spine. I often like to go to downward dog straight from there because I can feel really good on the back. All right, so lay down on the ground. And we'll start with another cobra. Inhale to come up to cobra when you're ready. As high as it feels good for you. Might be not high at all. That's okay. Shoulders away from the ears. Let your neck grow. Good. Downward facing dog when you're ready. That looks good, Zoe. Nice long neck. Downward dog, Julia. Hips to the sky. Breathing with the hips climbing up into the air, pressing into the hands. And we have that triangular shape at the hips. Downward dog. That's it. Good. If you'd like to bend your knees, you may. That can feel good. Go ahead and come forward to plank. Not letting the hips sag. And when you're ready, come 1 foot at a time to upward dog. On the toenails, no dropping those shins. They stay up as you scoop through and lift the heart. Good. Shoulders are down and the neck grows out of that space. Sarah, gorgeous. Awesome. Everybody's looking good. Okay, downward facing dog when you're ready. And Antoine, I bet you could probably get a little more back bend out of it. And the next time around, let's try scooping the hips forward more. Next time. For now, to hips up for downward dog. So we have downward dog, which is this one, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then we're going to head to upward dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So when you're ready, coming for Ardha, we'll come forward onto plank, and then 1 foot at a time. Shins are up. We'll scoop those hips through. In fact, my feet are moving forward a little bit to help me get through more. That may or may not be appropriate for you. Stay long in the neck, even though you're looking up. Release the knees. Press your hips towards your heels. Pull forward again. Press hips towards heels. And pull forward again. When you're ready, come all the way up onto the knees. Reach your arms over the head. Exhale to take the hands to the hips. All right, so this time, a little bit different than before. Last time we did camel, a variation of, with the hands like this, forward. This time we're going to put the hands on the lower back and squeeze the shoulder blades back. That's going to be good support for your upper back. So when you're ready, and you can tuck your toes or not for this one. For me, I like my toes tucked, but you choose. Wherever your hands are, I want you to feel that that space is long and soft as you tip back. We lift the ribs to go back, as if you had to go back over a huge beach ball. Imagine that beach ball is supporting you. All the muscles on your back body are. Hey, Aaron, come up higher so you've got your hips right over your knees the whole time. Inhale to come up. Take a seat onto your heels if it feels good, or sit in another way if that doesn't feel good. So with that pose, which is camel pose, the important piece is hips over knees, and we're not really thrusting the hips forward. We're certainly not pinching off the low back by squeezing, but yet the hips stay right over the knees so that we can get more spacious between the vertebrae for those discs. That's camel pose. Bring your hands onto the ground when you're ready. Let's take a moment to twist by taking the right arm over the shoulder. And then take that right arm underneath, lay down your shoulder, lay down your head. I want you to bring your left hand under the elbow at 90 degrees. Breathe. Press that back up. The left arm goes to the sky. Rotate your ribs that direction. And then rotate the other way by taking the left arm under and down. Breathe with fullness. Bring that back up. Lay down to your belly. Take your time and lay down any way you'd like. All right, next up is bow pose. So if you have trouble reaching your feet, then you might just grab your pant leg. We'll see how this goes. Actually, before we do bow pose, let's stretch the quads. So take your left arm across the front of your mat. Bring your right hand to the foot. Bend that knee and reach for your foot. Right hand to right foot. There you go. Lift your chest. Push your hips. Or you can take your head down. Bring that back up to change sides. Right arm comes across, left hand goes back. So you're learning many different back bends today. So far you've done cobra, upward dog, and camel. When you're ready, take your head down if you did so on the other side. And of course, we also did cow pose, which is a back bend, and bridge pose, which is a back bend. Release that foot. Bring your arms beside your body. Turn your head to the side. Just rest. The forehead comes down towards the ground. Bend your knees. Reach back for both feet, one in each hand. The head is still down, and what we want to do right away is just pull the feet in towards each other a bit, not a lot, just a little, and the shoulders back. On an inhale, lift your chest. Get a good grip on your feet. The next inhale takes the feet to the ceiling. The knees go towards the back of the mat. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. Keep breathing, holding and breathing. One more breath. Awesome. Release that down. Turn your head the opposite way as you did before. Just rest your body, arms by the hips. This is a wonderful neck stretch. Do enjoy this very passive, simple neck stretch. Bring your hands by your hips. Feel your feet touching the ground. Feel your breath flowing with ease. We're going to do the same pose one more time. So, forehead towards the ground. Bend your knees, reach for your feet. Squeeze between the shoulder blades, squeeze the legs in slightly. They're at hips width though. And when you're ready, lift first the chest. Use the strength of your back. And then push the feet into the hands, lift your knees. No straining the face. Stay soft. Good. So the feet into the hands, feet to the sky. That's what's lifting the back bend. Good, Julia. Use the strength of your heart to come up a little higher through the front. And keep the neck soft. Great, you're done. Lay down. Looking good, Sophie. Everybody. Relax your body. Just take a rest. One thing about back bends, they will generate a lot of energy flow. Feel the energy flowing through your body. On the next exhale, come up into a tabletop position or some modified version. Just move your spine any way that feels good on the hands and knees. It might be squared, it might not be squared. And on the next exhale, come to child's pose. Open the knees a bit wide. Sink the hips towards the heels. Forehead to the ground or onto your hands or block. The thing about back bends, we do always want to counteract the back bend by forward bending such as this. That being said, we never want to go abruptly from an intense back bend to a forward bend. We want to take some movements in between for the sake of the back and for the sake of the nervous system. Continue to breathe, filling up your lower back and pelvis with breath, with chi. Go ahead and make your way up to take a seat on your heels if it feels good, or some other way if that doesn't feel good. I would love to take a moment to have questions if there are any that have come up. So please feel free to unmute yourself. Let me help you with your back bends. Nothing? And that's okay if there's nothing. Alrighty, so it is. Okay, so let's continue on. I really would like to get another fun back bend, which, if you don't know, Pigeon is technically a back bend. And so we're going to do it in that fashion today. So go ahead and swing your legs around, coming towards the front of your mat. I wish I had a remote control for the angle of my computer so that I didn't have to get up every time I need to adjust. That'd be fun. All right, so here we are at the front of the mat with the right leg in front of the left. Or you could put the right leg on top of the left calf or thigh. Get your best hip stretch. What feels right to you? Sit bones centered and flat. Take the arms out to the sides. Bring the fingertips out on the ground, making a mound with your fingers. And we're going to take the right ear towards the shoulder. Take your right hand, bring it over the top of your head. Not pushing, but just adding a little weight. Lift your chest. Let your shoulders go soft. The neck is still long. Man, that feels good. Put that right hand back down. Lift your head. Take it to the other side. Before you do your left hand, just wait here for a couple breaths. And then the left hand comes up and over. There's a little bit of lifting the head up into the hand, even as you bring the weight of the hand down. And that'll keep your neck safer. Bring the left hand down, lift the head. We're going to drape our bodies over the legs. You could put your elbows on the legs or in front. And you could also find a way to rest your head if you want. But you don't have to. You could just let it hang and feel that nice neck stretch. Loosen your hips with every breath. Prepare them. Great. Roll yourself up. Okay, we're going to leave the right foot at the front of the mat and swing the left leg back in pigeon. Bend your left knee. I want the left knee to reach way back on the mat. That helps a lot. Your hands could be on blocks. Actually, before you bend that knee, let's just put the hands on one block or two, and this already is a back bend. See that? We gaze up, we lift the ribs away from the hips, and we let the left hip turn forward all the way. That's really important for safety in your spine. Now you could just want to stay here. The block helps come up into a higher back bend if you want it. Also, bending the back knee will get us another back bend. So if you want this part, you're going to bend that knee and reach back for your foot. Those who still want a little bit more, you'll take the left foot into the nook of the elbow. Letting the left hip turn forward the whole time, really important. All right, those who still want more, right hand up. Hook the fingers for mermaid. Here we are in a back bend. It's just an option. Just an option. All right, release that. Lay your elbows down. Relax. Letting the rib cage drop. 2 more complete breath cycles. Press back up. Drop onto your right hip. Bring your back leg to the front of the mat. I'm going to turn back towards you. All right, let's go ahead and straighten the legs. Those knees have been bent up for a while. Put the hands on the floor beside your hips. Press, this is called staff pose, making an L shape. Draw your low belly in. Dandasana. Awesome. We're going to that cross-legged position at the front of the mat with the left leg in front or the left leg on top, depending on your flexibility and what kind of hip stretch you want today. Take the hands back out to the sides on the fingertips, right ear towards the shoulder. Let's walk the hands back a little bit. Press your heart forward. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the head, take it over towards the left. Let the head go heavy. There's no weight in the hands. This is more about lifting through the chest. Pick up the head. Come forward over your legs in your own way. Breathe into your tightest spots. Feel a nice neck stretch as you let your head go down. Waiting for the muscles to let go. Roll yourself up. Nicely done. Leave your left leg at the front of the mat. Bring your right leg back for pigeon. And we'll start with the back bend piece of lifting through the front of the spine. And again, the blocks will give you more back bend if that's what you want. If it doesn't feel good on the back, you don't want that. Okay? To help with the back freedom and comfort, pull your left hip back. Feel that the left sit bone is dropping towards the ground and the left spine, the left side, is climbing up. No matter how high your back bend is. Find softness in your lower back, even as you lift. Great. Those who want more, bend that back knee. Reach back for the foot. Keep turning your hips straight forward. That's important for your sacrum. You're strengthening the right muscles there when you do that too. If you still want more, hook that foot into the elbow. If you still want more, left hand over the shoulder to hook the hands. Left hip sinking downward, even though the thighs are quite engaged. Go ahead and release the hands. Come forward over your leg. Take a rest. Sleeping pigeon. Breathe. Breathe softness into your low back. Right at the front of your spine. Last breath here. Lift your chest. Drop onto your left hip. Bring your back leg forward. We're just going to lay down. Yay, lay down. Bring your feet flat on the ground. Begin to rock your knees right and left. Nice and slow. Feeling into the hips and low back as you do. Notice any sensations. Bring that back to center. Take the feet wide. Drop the knees in towards each other, flexing the feet a bit. Bring your hands onto your low ribs or belly. Feel the breath moving your hands. Walk the feet back in. Bring the right leg to the chest. Hold on to the shin or the thigh. Straighten the left leg. Be careful not to compress your knee. If you have knee pain, please do hold your thigh rather than your shin. Left leg is on the ground. Straight out. Hug the right leg in. Good. With the left leg all the way out there, straight leg, put your right foot down with a bent knee. The arms go out to the sides. Take your hips 2 inches to the right, and then rotate to take your right knee across the body towards the left. After all those back bends, it's also important to find some good twists. If you want to rest your knee on a bolster, you may. If you want your left hand on your leg, that can feel good too. Come onto your back again. Straighten out your hips. Take your hands behind your left thigh to pull the left leg in. Straighten your right leg on the ground. Let your ankle relax. Let your leg relax. This is called wind relieving pose. Place the left foot flat on the ground. The right leg is still straight. Arms go to the sides like a T. Move your hips a little to the left to take your left knee across towards the right. Twist your spine, relaxing into this wonderful stretch. Notice how your back is feeling today. Sophie, your dog just wants to play, huh? Sweet. It's the morning class. It's like ready to go. Go ahead and come back onto your back. Straighten out your spine. Take your knees to your chest. And let's bend the knees and take the heels over the knees for happy baby pose. The knees are down by the rib cage. The hands come to the soles of the feet if you could reach. And the knees keep dropping down towards the floor. Heels are right over the knees. Heels over the knees, yeah? You don't have to hold your heels. You could hold your ankles. This is happy baby pose. Let's go ahead and straighten the legs out wide. Take the hands to the insides of the feet or the insides of the legs. Feel the nice inner thigh stretch. Close the legs. Plant the feet. Straighten your legs all the way out on the mat. Bring the arms beside the body. By the way, if you want to end on your bolster just like we started, that can be nice, but you might prefer to just be flat and give the back a chance to stop doing back bends. Whatever feels appropriate for your own body. The passive supported back bends can be oh so fabulous. No matter what position you've chosen, relax from head to toe. This is the time to just relax. Take care of yourself in this way. There's nothing more important than you. Relax your jaw, your brow, your whole scalp. begin to find some movement in your body. Move in your own way. To come up to take a seat. Take your time. Bring the hands together in front of the heart, Anjali Mudra, reminding us that we are connected through breath, take special care of your spine for the rest of today. Breathe with deepness and fullness to nourish your back. Namaste. All right, go ahead.